the night we brought Dr. King to this house. We kept him safe here until that next morning. And that's why we call this the Safe House, Black History Museum. We rented it out to some people and they moved it. So I said, we're not gonna rent it anymore. We're just gonna keep it as a memento. We're gonna keep it as a museum in memory of Dr. King. And you could see the barrels of their guns. And they had their head things on and looking out through the hoods. And they rode down, turned around, bumper to bumper, very slow, came back by. But I'm always thankful that they didn't stop because men were outside, but you couldn't see them because the night was black and we were black. And
I watched the video, I watched it 1,000 times now. Just so many other things come to my mind. One of the things that popped in my mind right there is she was talking about the Klan riding with the lights on and driving the slow with the hoods on. They were cowards. Mm-hmm. And they suspected something was going on. Anybody that if you have to hide your face to do what you're doing, you know it's wrong, number one. Number two, you're afraid for people to see your face. You're a coward. And all it took was people actually standing up. And I want to commend Miss Burroughs and the, we often forget the ladies of the movement. They had sacrificed mom, sacrificed the best parents in the world. We endured all we went through. And dad.
You said mom and dad Marines?
No, they were great parents.
They said Semper Fi.
No. They were very wise people. Mm. Mom had a 10th grade education, dad quit school, went in the 4th, 5th grade. But they were very wise people and they wanted to make sure that we got an education. Matter of fact, when we integrated in school, some of the teachers sent notes to my parents, messages to them, that we ought to be in somebody's field picking cotton instead of trying to get an education. But anyway, they sent all of them to college, all of us did well, but because of the wisdom of my parents, I think. And they taught us to stand up for what's right, but don't let bitterness come into your heart. Don't hate. And how they did that. Once mom told me this, when she was on her deathbed, she had a couple of open heart surgeries, and she was on her deathbed, and she talked about, I just sitting talking to her one day, and she said, talk about when we were first integrated schools, we had to literally walk a mile through the woods to catch the bus. It wasn't uphill both ways, but we had to walk a mile. And mom said, through the heat of it, she would get a rifle. She had a .22 rifle. She would sit on the front porch with us walking through the woods to listen for us screaming for help. And I thought then when she told me, I wasn't as wise as I am now. I thought then I didn't say it to her, but what is this middle-aged black woman going to do with us a mile away hollering for help? But I think mama would have did something.
At 22, she gonna come running. She come running like a boat.
But anyway, I say that, with knowing that, but she still did not allow us to become bitter or hateful. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Stand up for what's yours, stand up for what's right. Don't back down, but don't hate. And I applaud them. Study when I got that 70, when it should have been a 100. You know how to spell it, they can't take it away. So when I went off to college, two black guys and a white guy went from Akron together to the University of Alabama. After 2 semesters, the white guy flunked out because it used to be everything being handed to him. But we were used to struggling.
You went to the University of Alabama?
Roll Tide.
Yeah. I was going to bring a girl from University of Alabama to the reunion on the 24th July before I got into the accident. She told me, this black girl, she went to school with Boy Connor's granddaughter. So he talk about Boy Connor and that.
The NRA. You know about the NRA. You know who they are. Well, I see what you're doing, put the NRA. But what you don't realize that when the Black Panthers were marching and doing all that stuff, the NRA was for gun control. They supported gun control and registering your weapon and registering when you buy a gun. That's what the NRA supported. You hear what I'm saying?
Gun control.
Yeah, they want Black Panthers to get guns.
Yeah, gun control for black people with guns.
Right. The white folk, you know, I mean, it just don't make sense for everybody. What's happening today? Yeah, and so they supported gun control, but now they'll say, now that the other folks are buying guns, they'll say let everybody buy guns.
Yeah.
But the conversation gonna go full circle, I believe. Yeah. If I'm saying they're gonna realize that everybody don't need a gun. I was at a meeting some time ago, about 2 years ago, and it was a meeting with primarily Caucasian, and this woman walked in, and lo and behold, she got a gun on her hip, like Wild Wild West. And I got up, and somebody said, "Where you going?" I said, "I'm leaving." "Why are you leaving?" I said, "You see that woman got a gun?" "Well, she can do it." I said, "Yeah, I know she can do it. It's her right. I ain't telling her she couldn't come in, but I know she's unstable." So I'm not gonna sit here with her and she got a gun on her hip.
And so many mass shootings. I forget what y'all had here last year. It's around the same time I was talking to one of my other cousins that is your cousin too. She didn't want to go to the World Games event. Is that what it was called, World Games?
Yeah, we have.
In the summer, it was here, and she didn't want to go because she didn't want to get shot.
Right. Been allowed to produce his kids.
The museum in Montgomery that they call the Lynching Museum, I think it's Peace and Justice, Brian Stevenson. That museum talks about the history, or Brian Stevenson, I know, always talks about the history of people fleeing from terror, from that terrorism, that fear that is injected into every black person that's born in rural, southern Mississippi, Tennessee, Appalachia, Alabama.
And again, we know of at least 4 times the plane was coming to get my dad. But for whatever reason, they were cowards. Because I tell you about my mom, we all had guns. We hunted. Mm-hmm. We were all ready to shoot. And so
what kind of rifle? What's your favorite rifle?
I shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
I want something that's gonna grab you. Mm-hmm. I gotta be a straight shooter with a rifle. Mm-hmm. With a shotgun will slow you up. Right. And so then, they knew my family, like they did in Emmett that wouldn't happen in my dad's house. Mm-hmm. Come knock on the door and say, "Give us so-and-so out the house." No, you got to come get it. And like I said, they were cowards. They didn't know where they can come in because they know we were going to shoot.
With a sawed-off, you're going to move quicker than you would with a long one, huh?
Yeah.
You're wrong with it. Your grandma or your mom might have been able to get there quick enough with the sawed-off.
But, and I think the Klan tried to intimidate people. Mm-hmm. They travel in groups, but anytime anybody stood up, you follow what I'm saying? So my sister, first black girl to graduate from high school in Akron, my dad took mine. We couldn't go. All of us can go. I'm ready to use it. Mm-hmm. He knew what we were going into. And so nothing happened. But they knew my dad was, he wasn't loud, wasn't aggressive, but I'm going to stand up for what's right. If it comes, you need to do what you need to do. Mm-hmm. And so I had a friend, this was mid-2010, something like that, came, a white guy, pastor a church here, and he asked me after he's seen the races and I'm still here, so why do you stay here? I said, I live on the land where my great-great-great-great-grandfather enslaved my great-great-grandmother. This is home for me.
Right here?
Right where I live now, where my house sits right now.
How far away is that?
5, 6, 7 miles. Mm-hmm. Why should I give that up because of a bunch of racists?
It's still Hale County?
Still Hale County, right. Still here. No, I won't leave. You need to leave. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
They need to leave, but this is my home.
How many generations?
Great-great-great-grandfather enslaved my great-great-great-great-grandmother. You follow what I'm saying? They're going to realize that everybody don't need a gun. I was at a meeting some time ago, about 2 years ago, and
want to go because she didn't want to get shot.
Right. I mean, they do have it, and I don't know. It's I think a part of what's happened to us, like kids now, if they've not been taught to love themselves, respect themselves, and love my fellow man, if that makes sense.
Second Amendment should not be greater than the second greatest commandment.
Right.
To love thy neighbor.
Right. And so then